I'm Jocelyn. Today we're going to do, surprise, surprise, a recipe from Fast Easy Vegan, page 75. It is mushroom tofu cutlet sandwich without the sandwich. That's right. So I have this whole section on sandwiches, and yet I don't eat bread very often. Which is not to say that I haven't eaten every single recipe in this book, because I have. I tested it. I've eaten them all more than once. And this is a really delicious recipe, and it's weird, but instead of making it into a juicy, sumptuous sandwich, we're going to make it into a juicy, sumptuous dinner, and we're going to put it over rice instead of in a sandwich, and then salad on the side, and maybe even a vegetable, but you don't really need it. So let's get going. Let me put my little book down, my little tiny book down, and start the mushrooms cooking. What we've got with our tofu cutlet sandwich right here on the board, 1.5 pounds. Now the recipe calls for 1.5 pounds of mushrooms. You can see I was having fun with this. We've got some baby bellas, or the brown mushrooms. We've got some regular white mushrooms, and I found some shiitakes already sliced up for me, so I couldn't resist. Now the thing about shiitakes is interesting. Fresh shiitakes have this wonderful, creamy, delicate texture and flavor. They don't really taste like much. Dried shiitakes, on the other hand, let me show you. You just hang on and don't go away now. Okay. Dried shiitakes, I get them by the huge bag from Amazon. They're very cheap that way. Why spend more money than you have to? Life is expensive enough. So these are the kind you get in Chinese restaurants when you order like a mushroom and greens dish. The thing about shiitake mushrooms, you always take the stem out. The stems are absolutely inedible. Put them in a little bag or something and toss them in soups for flavor, but a goat can't get through them. These have a wonderful, woodsy, strong flavor. They are a completely different creature than fresh shiitake mushrooms. I reconstitute them and put them into stir fries and whatever. But it's also a very Chinese food flavor, if you know what I'm saying. So the pan is hot. It doesn't have to be, but it just happened to get hot while I was talking. We're going to put in these mushrooms. Okay. And then we're going to put in our shiitakes too. I think I've probably said it 50 times at least before, but you really can't overcook mushrooms. You can cook them and cook them and cook them. And many authorities say that mushrooms really should be cooked a minimum of 20 minutes and never eaten raw. Well, I've never liked raw mushrooms, so not a problem for me. But I think that's kind of interesting. So I don't always cook my mushrooms for 20 minutes at a time, but I cook them till they're done, till all the water has seeped out and been pulled back in again. So while those mushrooms are cooking, let's do the sauce, because it's all about the sauce. Okay, we're going to start with 2/3 of a cup of sherry. Yeah, sherry. 2/3, that's a lot. And it really makes the recipe. You end up with this just kind of earthy, sweet flavor, no alcohol. Alcohol burns off completely at a certain temperature. Ooh, sizzly mushrooms. Let me multitask. Maybe this is like a better angle, and then you can see as I go back and forth. So our mushrooms are sizzling in there. Lovely. Okay. Those got started. They're on the way. They're going to cook down beautifully in a couple minutes here. Back to our sauce. So, 2/3 of a cup of sherry, 1/2 a cup of veggie broth. Today it's Trader Joe's. Now, vegetable broth will flavor whatever you're doing. So make sure that you're buying a vegetable broth or making one that you really like. 3 tablespoons Dijon mustard. You know, I always forget something. Today it was a measuring cup. Okay. Oh, look. Mushroom, sad. Okay, 3 tablespoons Dijon mustard. Good old Grey Poupon. Okay, 3 tablespoons Dijon. 1/3 of a cup of nutritional yeast. Got a bunch of umami going on. This little scoop that comes with this brand of nutritional yeast is exactly 1/4 of a cup. So cool. Apropos of nothing, right? Okay, let's mix this guy up. And I'm going to add my salt and pepper to the sauce. And this obviously is optional. Add as much or as little as you like, if any. And that was simple. So that sauce, and what's going to happen, it's going to reduce down and thicken, and it's going to be magnificent. So I want to show you this cool gadget here. This is a tofu press. Now, I got this last year sometime. I use it all the time. It's expensive, kind of, you know, for a little piece of plastic. And it's plastic, which is a problem for me. But it does the job so well. So I got a brick of extra firm tofu. So it's not going to have a lot of water in it. But I want to show you how it works. These are basically glorified rubber bands, right? And they go over the top and hook onto one of these through. These are the different, oops, sorry. These are the different stages. So you loop your strap over there for to squeeze the water out. And extra firm tofu, look at the water. Look at that. So yeah, this is one of my favorite kitchen tools. It just does a wonderful job. Oh boy, the days when I used to use a, what do you call it? Let me get a knife. Oh yeah, basically books. I just put a plate, pile some books on it, and more often than not, all it did was crush my tofu. So yeah, I really like my little gadget. Now I'm cutting these, as you can see, into kind of sticks. And I find that when I wrote the recipe, I did the big slabs for the sandwich, and that's great, but we're not doing the sandwich. So we're going to put those in as soon as those mushrooms are ready. And I'm going to let these cook down until the pan is pretty dry and we can put our sauce on. So I'll stand here slaving over a hot stove, and I'll see you in just a second when they're done. The mushrooms are done. They are ready for the sauce. So let me show you. Aren't they small now? They shrunk down quite a bit, didn't they? So anyway, our sauce. Ooh, you're crooked. Let me fix that. So much better. Okay. So we're going to take our sauce, give it a stir to blend everything again. And into our pretty dry mushroom pan, we're going to put this sauce, which smells so good. So good. And we're going to lay our tofu slabs across the top. Now, when we pressed our tofu, it made it really dense, obviously. And the beauty of tofu is that it will absorb whatever flavors happen to touch it, or it happens to be soaking it. So that's what makes tofu so incredibly versatile. I used to loathe the stuff, but in all honesty, it was because I didn't know how to cook with it. So we're going to have various tofu dishes. I'll make a tofu mayo for you once, some tofu desserts, which sound utterly disgusting, and they're good. So it's a process. All right, now what we're going to do is, hope I'm not making you dizzy, cover this, turn it down to a simmer, and all we're trying to do is heat that tofu all the way through. And once it's hot, we're going to plate up. Okay, that didn't take long. So what I did was I put the cover on the tofu and the sauce. I let it simmer for about 10 minutes until the tofu got thoroughly hot. Took the cover off and turned them over because they'd already absorbed, those tofu sticks had already absorbed sauce. They've puffed up again quite nicely, so they're full of that delicious umami, mustardy, creamy sauce. I'm drooling, I'm salivating. And now it's time to dish up. So let's get our rice. So this dish went from being written up as a sandwich to not changing anything but the bread. And you have a beautiful dinner. So, there, I want you to watch like every gorgeous bite going onto the plate. There's my rice, white today, obviously. And let's see what we can do about a nice serving dish. Okay, lay a couple of tofu strips there. Making sure that the rice gets a lot of sauce, and then we get plenty of mushrooms. Ooh, yeah, let's do one more. I'm hungry. There you go. Doesn't that look good? Oh man, I think that looks delicious. This with a salad of your choice, and you have a nutritious, hearty, delicious, I already said nutritious, but it's twice as good as most food. All right, that was lame. This is your dinner. We're done.
That was easy.
I'll see you for the next fascinating and exciting and easy recipe. Bye.